The reason that I work as an artist is to ask questions. That is to say, what is it? And not to say what something is. For if we know what it is that we're doing, there's no reason to do it. What am I saying? How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. Examples grows his earth exactly. Witness his army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, the nephew to old Fortinbras, whose divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible intent. That's Hamlet. I learned it when I was 12. That monologue, and I'm 66 and still saying it. And each time I say it, I can think about it in a completely different way. There's no one way to think about it, there are many. So the reason to work is to stay open and say, what is it? I grew up in a rather small town in central Texas and never went to the theater or to a museum or an art gallery. It was not until my early 20s when I moved to New York City could I first go to the theater. And I went to see Broadway plays and I didn't like them. And I still don't for the most part. And I went to the opera and I didn't like that either, and I still don't for the most part. But then I saw the work of George Balanchine in the New York City Ballet, and I liked that very much. And I still do. I liked it because it was formal, it was classically constructed, and I liked the space, the mental space, the virtual space. I liked the way the actors behaved on stage, how they danced for themselves first, without insisting too much on the audience potential. And in particular, I liked the abstract ballets of Balanchine. It was so different from what I was seeing in the theater, Broadway, and the opera. It simply gave me more time and space to think. Theater should be architectural. The Lord gave us eyes, and He gave us ears, and what we see can be as important as what we hear. And what we see doesn't have to be there as a decoration for what we're hearing. I like to also immerse in John Cage's work the abstraction. Years later, I started making theater, and I think that this was the first major influence on the work that I did at the early stage of my career and that I'm doing now. I'm a responsible citizen. Why do you hit the boy? And eventually I left with the boy and walked to a police station, and on the way I heard the sounds coming from the boy and recognized them as the sounds of a deaf person. And after some time at the police station, I left with the boy and went to a two-room apartment where he was living with 13 people. An all-black family. The boy was Afro-American, 13 years old.
and learned that the boy had recently been sent to New Jersey from Alabama, and before that Louisiana, the southern part of the United States. And in the following weeks, I learned that the boy was going to be institutionalized, that it was thought that he couldn't learn. That didn't work with the judge. I said to the lawyer, what can I say to convince the judge to give me the boy? He said, I don't know. And at the end of the proceedings, I said, you know, Judge, if you don't give me this boy, it's going to cost the state of New Jersey a hell of a lot of money to lock him up. Said, Mr. Wilson, you've got a very good point. So they gave him to me. And he came to live with me. And I wrote my first work in the theater with Raymond Andrews, a 13-year-old deaf-mute boy who had never been to school. You could not distinguish which was the scream of a deaf person. So I started thinking about it. We started with a movement first. And from the movement, we added sound. Some anthropologists believe that man was moving first, and with the movement, sounds placed, raised to a higher vibration, connected to mental thought, until words and language was formed.